there is a price for existing. And our ancestors paid that price in ways you can't even imagine. While you're sitting there, comfortable, watching this video, it's worth remembering that millions of years ago, simply being alive was a deadly challenge. And today, here on Aquaria X Venter, you're going to discover how 7 human ancestors had endings so terrible they'll make you grateful to be living in the 21st century. Get ready, because these stories are disturbing. Let's start with something that seems silly, but was fatal. You know that annoying toothache that makes you rush to book a dentist appointment? Well, the Turkana boy, a Homo erectus who lived 1.5 million years ago in Kenya, died from exactly that. This 8 or 9-year-old boy was losing his baby teeth when something went wrong. The permanent molars grew in crooked, squeezing against each other, and the gum got infected. What started as discomfort became a giant abscess, pus, fever, unbearable pain. The infection spread through his blood, causing septicemia, that condition that even today, with modern antibiotics, kills people. Imagine the agony. He probably got weaker and weaker, until one day he fell face down in a swampy area and simply couldn't get up. His body sank into the mud, face submerged, and there he died. And if you think it ended there, it didn't. After death, a herd of animals trampled the corpse, burying it even deeper. Over time, volcanic ash covered everything, creating a tomb that would last for ages. Recent analyses showed he also had a severe herniated disc in his spine, so bad he could barely walk. So even if the infection hadn't killed him, he would have been easy prey for any predator. A boy who never had a chance. Today, you go to the dentist and solve the problem in half an hour. He died in agony for weeks, maybe months. Think about that next time you complain about the dentist's chair. Now, imagine being a small child playing outdoors. Suddenly, something grabs you from behind. Talons dig into your eyes, and you're dragged upward. Welcome to the nightmare of the tongue child, an Australopithecus from 2.8 million years ago. This small primate, not exactly a homo, but a close relative, was in the wrong place at the wrong time. His skull was found with deep perforations in the eye sockets and long scratches on top of the head. When scientists compared these marks with attacks by giant eagles on modern monkeys, it all matched. A huge bird of prey dove from the sky, drove its beak and talons into his eyes, and carried him off. The most disturbing part, the skull was found alone, without any other bones nearby, inside an isolated cave in the Kalahari Desert. How did it get there? The most accepted theory is sinister. The eagle used the boy's body to build its nest on a rocky cliff. Over time, the skull came loose, rolled down the slope, entered a crevice, and stayed hidden there for millions of years. So yes, our ancestors were literally carried off by giant birds. Next time you look at a hawk and think it's cute, remember that if you think nature is cruel, wait until you hear about OH7, a Homo habilis from 1.8 million years ago. This little guy was only 1.2 meters tall, the size of a 6-year-old child. Fragile, vulnerable, and absolutely unlucky. He was near a swamp, probably bending down to drink water, when a monster emerged from the depths. This wasn't just any crocodile, it was Crocodilus thorbjarnarson, the largest true crocodile that ever existed. 7.5 meters of pure terror, weighing over 2 tons. The attack was explosive. The crocodile charged, jaws closed on Osivan's left leg, piercing bones, tearing off entire chunks. He managed to turn around, trying to escape, but that movement was his fatal mistake. By turning his back to the water, he exposed his neck, and a second predator was already lurking. A large cat, the size of a leopard, leaped and drove claws and fangs into the back of his skull. 2 predators, a coordinated attack, or just cosmic bad luck? Doesn't matter, the result was the same: instant death. The fossils show no signs of healing, which means he didn't have time to recover from any of the injuries. Some researchers believe it really was a simultaneous attack, with the cat taking advantage of the confusion to guarantee an easy meal. Even today, crocodiles and big cats fight over carcasses in Africa. But back then, they fought over living humans. And we were losing. You've heard that even too much water can kill. Well, vitamins too. And that's exactly what happened to KNMER 1808, a female Homo erectus who lived in Kenya 1.7 million years ago. When her skeleton was discovered in 1974, scientists were shocked. The bones were deformed, with abnormal growth, small fossilized hemorrhages, signs of chronic pain. It looked like she had been tortured from the inside out. But there were no external injuries, no signs of attack. The answer? Hypervitaminosis, a vitamin A poisoning. She was eating carnivore liver so frequently that her body collapsed. The liver of certain predators, like modern polar bears, contains so much vitamin A that a single serving could provide 150 years of the nutrient for a human. And yes, that kills. The symptoms are horrible. Excruciating joint pain, peeling skin, hair and teeth falling out, extreme weakness, internal bleeding. And she lived like that for months, maybe years, until her body simply gave up, without understanding why. Without knowing that the very food keeping her strong was actually destroying her from the inside. It's the perfect irony. You eat something nutritious, something that should make you stronger, and it slowly kills you. A silent death, invisible, inevitable. Homo erectus was one of the most successful human species of all time. They were the first to leave Africa, mastered fire, spread across 3 continents, survived for over 1 million years. But everything has an end. On the island of Java, Indonesia, researchers found something disturbing. More than a dozen Homo erectus skeletons, all adults, all piled up in the same sediment layer. None showed signs of disease, injuries, or old age. They died together, suddenly. The main theory? A catastrophic flood. Analysis showed the bodies were swept by a violent current to a narrow point in the river, where they got stuck, along with logs and stones, forming a kind of dam of corpses. Over time, mud and volcanic ash covered everything, fossilizing the tragedy. But what caused the flood? The darkest hypothesis involves a volcanic eruption that generated al-Har, those deadly torrents of boiling mud, rocks and water that rush down the mountain, destroying everything. If that's what happened, then this site could be one of the few fossil records of an extinction happening in real time. And the saddest part? These may have been the last Homo erectus on the planet. The species that once dominated the world, wiped out by a wave of mud. No war, no disease, just nature saying, "It's over. Hold a human skull." Now imagine it's 430,000 years old, and has 2 perfectly symmetrical holes in the forehead. Welcome to the first documented homicide in history. This skull belonged to a Homo heidelbergensis found in a Spanish cave called Cima de los Huesos, the Pit of Bones. At first glance, researchers thought he had fallen and hit his head. But the injuries didn't match. 2 identical holes, with symmetrical edges, equal depth. A fall doesn't do that. Detailed analyses revealed the truth. He was struck twice in the head with brutal force. The marks were consistent with primitive stone axes. Someone grabbed a tool, raised their arm, and smashed his skull. Twice, to make sure. And he wasn't alone. The same cave contained thousands of human bones, many also showing signs of trauma. It's believed that place was a collective cemetery, perhaps the oldest in the world, where bodies were thrown after death. but some of those bodies were placed there after murders. Why? Territory dispute, food, power. The same reasons we kill today. The difference is this happened hundreds of thousands of years before there were laws, governments, or any concept of morality. So next time someone says things were better in the old days, remember, humanity's first crime was committed when we weren't even fully human yet. If there's a sound that gives you chills, it's the laugh of a hyena. Now, imagine that sound coming from a creature the size of a lioness, with jaws capable of crushing an entire human skull in one bite. That was the terror of Prehistoric, the giant hyena of the Pleistocene. And among its victims was Peking man, a subspecies of Homo erectus discovered in a cave in China. When scientists entered that cave, they found a massacre scene. 28 individuals, all torn apart, crushed, mixed with bones of other animals. Initially, they thought it was cannibalism, that humans themselves had killed and devoured each other. But something didn't make sense. The marks on the bones weren't from tools, they were from teeth. Huge teeth. About 67% of the human bones had bite marks, spiral fractures, punctured holes. The pattern was clear. Hyenas, but not ordinary hyenas. Prehistoric weighed 150 kilograms, had a disproportionate head and muscles so strong they could break bones of giant animals. And they didn't kill quickly. Hyenas eat their prey alive, tearing off chunks of flesh while the victim is still conscious. The conclusion was devastating. That cave wasn't a human home, it was a hyena den. The Homo erectus passing through the region were hunted, dragged inside, and devoured. Even the stone tools found may have belonged to humans who tried to occupy the cave after the hyenas left, only to be killed when they returned. For a long time, we weren't the top of the food chain. We were food. And Prehistoric was the daily reminder of that. 7 ancestors, 7 brutal deaths. Each of these stories is a reminder that life was never easy. While you're sitting there, complaining about traffic or slow internet, remember, millions of years ago, our relatives were crushed by hyenas, dragged off by eagles, poisoned by vitamins, and beaten to death by other humans. But you know what's most impressive? We survived. Despite all of this, all the horrors, all the unfair deaths, one lineage continued, and that lineage reached you. So next time you have a bad day, think about the Turkana boy dying from a toothache, or OH7 being attacked by 2 predators at once, or the Homo heidelbergensis taking 2 axes to the head. And be grateful you're living now. If you enjoyed this macabre journey through prehistory, leave your like, subscribe to the Aquaria Extenta channel, and hit the bell so you don't miss the next videos. Because there's a lot more dark history coming. Until next time, and watch out for eagles.